The voice, checking the voice. Do not go anywhere in the first few seconds. I'm headed to all charts. I just got to get there, and I got to grab your attention. I got to keep your attention, so you'll stick with me. How long is this video going to be? I don't know. I never really know. Stop share. Everything is a checking the voice. It is 9:50 p.m. I'm running about 50 minutes late because I try to get this down and dropped at 8 p.m. So 9/23, 2025. I'm on Litecoin. We're in the middle of the week. Excuse me just for 1 second. Really sorry about that. I try to clear my throat before, and then my bulldog. Y'all hear about my bulldog? He just came in right. I knew. I thought he would wait till the middle of the video. Anyway, Litecoin. We're on the Tuesday video, but you guys will probably see it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's just whenever you come. Make sure you hit the subscribe and the like button and come down and talk to us if you want to and engage on the best YouTube channel with crypto you've ever seen. And that's just the truth of the matter. And I know it. Just watch more and more of the videos as we download. We're only going to be able to download so much at a time or it messes up the YouTube. We got more channels coming for you. Let me show you something real quick. When you go over to the YouTube, first make sure you hit the subscribe, and then go to the playlist. And where Moneymaker is building a playlist for it. You can see client exclusive vault. Now those are the hour ones. I'm pretty sure. I'm not going to click on it. Full playlist. I'm not going to click on this because trade signals. That is the Tuesday room. In so many ways. So that's what I'll show you there. Twitter, you're more than welcome to come over to my Twitter. I just had to start a new one about a couple of weeks ago, so I'm building it. And you do get different videos over here, as well if you go to the highlight section. And I'm just starting to get back to doing that. We're gonna go to like one trade signals. That was where these videos go. Well, he didn't tell me no number. I think you would be smart enough, and in order to use my information and put real money on the line, you need to be smart enough to be able to figure out what I'm showing you. So that means you would need to spend time over here if you're new. Now we're going to try to work on a new section, but new's difficult when it comes to crypto. Most folks hodl. I'm not a hodler. I'm a no hodl. In so many ways, I'm an investor, long term swing trader. So hodl works, but not in the mentality of crypto land, meme coin land, gamble land, pump fund land, Astar land, Astar, the new hot coin. Not a lot of energy out there on the alt side risk. The dollar hangs around 96. I've covered that in the micro videos, 95 to 91. The story, grab your attention with Litecoin. How many people's interested in Litecoin? Let's see. I'll go over and get a Litecoin crowd. There's a Litecoin crowd on Facebook. There's a Litecoin crowd on Twitter and probably on those other platforms, but I only can use so many. This shit drives me crazy. I am on Telegram, but the Telegram has been turned into a YouTube channel, really. So it's just to get people over to YouTube. The Telegram is going to be privated out. So you can come over and talk to me, but you need to be serious to be on my Telegram, and communicating and engaging and conversing with me. Moneymaker will talk to you down in the bottom, and I will try to ask more and more questions as we go along. So that would be my question below. Where are you going to buy Litecoin? Without me telling you, what am I doing here? What's this crazy man doing with his drawing? Now, this is something that when I do live rooms, I draw on the charts and all that. You can see the moving averages as well. So, as a new person, the questions you would have is first, like, what are these snake things you got on your chart? What is this platform you're using that has all of these letters down the right hand side? How do you add coins? I can do the plus. There's a lot of different things. I'm not one for bells and whistles. So, I keep my stuff rather simple for me because I'm simple and I only need lines really. But to teach other people and to show other people and then to be able to use the information and use what I'm showing, it needs to be simple. When you see somebody with a bunch of butterflies and Elliott wave and stuff, I can do it all. But people don't take the stuff like that and they don't learn it very well. That's more advanced stuff. You can see with Litecoin, just going into the Litecoin analysis here, head and shoulder pattern. So newer person, head and shoulder, you got to wash that gray right out here. So you got a definitely a head and shoulder pattern. Now, what you need to understand about head and shoulder patterns, I'll go into a little bit of Elliott wave. That's what happens at the end of 5 wave structured markets. And we're looking at Litecoin. Is it structured? In a way, yeah, because it follows Bitcoin. It's a fork of a Bitcoin and it's ETF heaven. They have opened up the gates for the ETF stuff to go through rather easily now. So keep that in mind. I had some coverage on this one in the last video. If you want to go check the last video, because Litecoin was in there, and I talked about I was bearish here. I was not bullish here. Not so much, sometimes with short trading here, just because these things were completely set up to go. I think maybe shorting here, but I warn people you're kind of playing with fire. You got it. A good little short trading. And then after this is a setup to go up into these areas because that's where it's heading now. I'm pretty sure you're going to get a bull here and Litecoin's going to make a run. Now everybody's going to go round and round where it's going. Obviously, the Litecoin folks think it's going to 1,000. I'm not one of those people. Here, definitely the trade's on. Trump wins. The only problem with this one is you would have really thought that that was going to go further. So how much profit did you take? So the trader who wants 100%, guess what? Boom. I think you got 100% right there. And in the period of time that did it with the right amount of money, guess what? And especially if you use leverage. You see me do some leverage trades over here. I'm not normally that much of a leverage trader when it comes to crypto, but I'll show it. It's what people get excited. So there is still a leverage trade going on around 110, 111. I think at 110, something somewhere around there is my stop from a couple of Saturdays ago. There was plenty of places to take profit along the way. I am after a bigger move there. So you could come right back in on that one. I don't know if we'll look at that tonight, but that's what's going on with BTC if you're interested in BTC. And I usually we'll save that for Saturday night. Ethereum started to correct, and that's why I went running to Litecoin. Because I told you guys I'd walk you to the moon with Litecoin. A dip for newer people will be great. Are you going to get it? Because that's where I'd go to with this. Are you going to buy now? Or do you think you can get it cheaper? Because the cheaper you can get it, the more money you can put into it, and the more of the Litecoin you own as you go up. So another dip down into about 90 is like love. It's like crypto love. Can you get it? Are you gonna get it? It's going to depend on BTC. I have a feeling the BTC is going to come in and go up, but the chart can be bearish over there, and a trade's a trade if I get stopped out. That's all it is. And it actually ran up to about 117, so there was plenty of money to take off of a leverage trade there, and a lot of folks would have. I kind of teach around stuff and really talk about stuff and want to come back to it. So to me, the BTC trade, you just come right back to it. Whatever you did, because everybody's going to do something different. On this one, you have to kind of go backwards now because now, in order to understand Litecoin, you need to understand Bitcoin and you need to understand Ethereum. So those videos I made before are going to come in handy here because what happened? Bitcoin corrected. Litecoin corrected more. Ethereum tends to correct more. The alts tend to correct more. There's times when Bitcoin can move 2% and the rest of this shit will move 10, 15%. It just depends on what kind of risk on, risk off environment we got and how volatile they get with it. And it tends to all move on its own. So are you going to see Litecoin come and revisit the red moving average? And if so, is that a place where you would be interested in buying? And you can see the last couple of times they dipped even below. They went after all the stops. Anybody that stops up under this thing, they went after them. So that's what's going on, and that's where your really good opportunity is. The reason why it's a really good opportunity is cheaper for sure. So right now we're at 100. And that's really where I was calling right around 100. Most folks are what you're going to end up with is what I'll call an entry box. Well, other people will say they DCA, but you always want to protect yourself and just willy-nilly buying stuff don't it's not going to give you a good place to put a stop loss. How long has it been since you heard stop loss on a crypto channel? I ain't using no stop losses. They get me every time. When did I start this video? I don't know. I said the time. I was running late. I think I was running about 50 minutes late. So I think we're about 10 minutes in. And the story tonight's Litecoin, Ethereum, the alts, the bigger caps, and the risk on and the feds and the rate cuts and getting everything. Now, normally when rate cuts happen, you get some blood. Also, the blood on BTC may have been caused by Sailor Bond, Bitcoin again at the top. All the orders and stuff like that have to be processed. Now, let me finish this before I go anywhere. 90, 100, and that's where your area is at. If you're going to be a leverage trader, you gotta have to be careful here because they really could shoot it down. And what they could do is just sit here and not do much. And then, when the correction comes on BTC, boom. it goes down. So you really got to be patient, understand what you're getting involved in, and understand if you're purchasing anywhere over 100, what you're dealing with. A double is easy, 200. I'll give you 200 in a heartbeat. 300, I'll give you that one too. Real simple for new folks, without getting too complicated on this. And there's all kinds of tools I could use, but I'll go to the very top. This is textbook. Neeson is a good candlestick book to go buy. You could go on Google wherever. Neeson, Steve Neeson, candlestick is a Japanese. It's one of the better ones. If you want to understand candlesticks, you should have a candlestick. If you're going to do this, you should have a candlestick book. I can't even tell you what all the names of these candlesticks are. I make up names. You'll hear it all the time. And a lot of times, if you hear me stutter on something, it's because I can't remember what it's called. There's so much stuff. So, the candles, there's all kinds of candles. Now, I tend to make them on. I prefer the word and the visual and the understanding of price action. Price action to me is being able to study these charts and see what they're doing. Yeah, I noticed the head and shoulder patterns. I noticed the dojis. I noticed the hammers. Noticed the bullish and coffee. I know where to notice them at. I know where to look for them at, where they're important and where not to. And that's even more important. Is price action. And that takes years of experience, listening to somebody, following somebody, and understanding what's going on to be able to start to correlate that with price action. Hey, I know why they're doing it. I know why it's volatile, price action. I know why that thing just dumped, price action. I know why that thing just pumped, price action. Targets. It's a whole different lesson. Figuring out where they're going and taking your money, but you can't take a trade if you don't know the targets. So simple textbook, top to bottom, will give you fib retracements, will give you math, and you see the numbers. I'll have them lined up over here. You can line them up over wherever you want to. 618 is an important one, and you can see, and you just go right into a whole nother lesson, which is resistance and support. When you see a price try to go up and hit its head and get shot back down, you know if they go where they're going to go to. It doesn't mean they're going to go straight there. But when they get there, you would expect it to sell off. What does that mean? That's a take profit spot, a target potential, a place to trade. Most likely, this coin sideways has gone sideways enough. It's going to stand this up. This is another lesson all in itself of patterns into a different level of understanding patterns. They call it accumulation. They call it all kinds of stuff. With these sideways moves and the white cloth and all that stuff, they make it too complicated. This thing's making higher highs as well. So you notice that at the bottom. So it's starting to trend up. The red moving average is starting to support it. There's reasons to be looking long and not short. And we're looking for alt season, and we're looking for the dollar to go up under 96 to 91. If you followed along with me in my dollar covers, I'll come back to that on Saturday night. Bigger stuff on Saturday night. The bigger stuff, stocks sometimes I'll do Apple. The big stuff on Saturday night, but Bitcoin too. And Ethereum is more of the bigger stuff, but it goes along with the alts. And you don't catch me doing Solana that much in the meme coins. It's just too much. And there's just a million Solana, Memcoin, TA people, and those charts are just ridiculous for the most part. Do people get rich off of them? I don't know. I haven't had anybody really prove to me that they got rich off meme coins. I will say that I do have a few meme coins that I'll cover from here to there. Whiff comes off the top of my head. Doji in the ETF makes sense. So Doji and Whiff. And then Toshi. Yeah, Toshi. I got Toshi that I cover too. And so my private guys over on the Telegram. So, I have a smorgasbord of coins that I like to come to. I find that on YouTube. I go into coins that people don't know. Nobody watches it, but the nuggets will be at the end of these videos. But I'll throw them in the middle too. I'm not just going to let you go to the middle and catch a minute and get a couple coins. You're going to have to come in and put your time and energy in. I'm putting my time and energy in to these videos. Litecoin, where does Litecoin take me? Well, Litecoin, Bitcoin, but not really. I'm down here on the altcoin. So Litecoin, when I start working on Litecoin, that has nothing to do with the fundamentals or anything like that, where I'm going with this. But the altcoins, Link, Light and Link in the Oracle, and so it takes a hit too. Is this bad? No. It needed it. My calls on this were around the 12 to 15 area. A few times, it's got the kind of the same price action, but a little bit different. Linker patterns. So remember what I told you about this? These like to stand up on themselves. That sideways move stood up on itself and then corrected. Red moving averages purchases. I'll leave you with this tonight as I go, and I'll be live at 9 a.m. in the morning. You reach out to me on Telegram. You can do it on Twitter as long as you're serious, and Facebook Messenger as well. But I don't like using a lot of that stuff. Telegram's where I'm at, and that's where my serious work is. But I'll leave you with this tonight. Can you figure out from what I showed you with Litecoin where I would be interested in a link, and then where do you think it's going? Now, obviously, the YouTube cats and the 18-year-olds and the every person in your mama doing TA has a lot of thoughts here. It's about making money. A 3x is love for most people with the right kind of capital. So if you're listening to this and you're capitalized and you need help, you're too busy, you're running a business, you're a professional, and you want somebody that covers this, I do all the time. And I do 3 live rooms and I cover all these coins. And I have places where I go chart runs pretty much twice a day. It's what I do. I love to do this. I love to do the charts. I might continue to do this on YouTube. The crypto crowd is lost, to be honest with you. If you're new and you show up, what they've done to crypto people, most people are XRP'd in both eyes. I can't fix that. I've been doing this a long time. I have very good people work for me in the past, researchers and the fundy smart guys. They all will find me if I want them to. And I do have my own funny brain. Believe me, I'm working on a list of 20 new coins that you're not really going to see on this channel because for the most part nobody cares. They say they do, but engagement and views and people showing up and real people showing up is real. The rest of it is purchased views, subs, and a bunch of crap on all of the social medias. Link. So we'll come back. I teased last time. I think I teased light. So I'm teasing link and I'm teasing light, and you're gonna get a lot of light and link on this channel. Is it because it's my favorite coins? No. It's because it's the solid, bigger ones, which are probably going to have more of a tendency to go up faster. I could say ATA. I could go into old school. Link's not as much old school, but it's been around probably as long as ATA. No, Link came to the cycle after. I'm pretty sure. So, that's what I'll leave you with, you guys. Thanks for coming and watching. Please again, take the time to like and subscribe and engage for us as we grow, and we appreciate it. And the metals continue to push. Ethereum corrected, but did it correct enough? It's something I'll come back to on Saturday night. And then as I roll down, SNX is having a little bit of a run, a little bit of crypto there. I'm not going to get into too much on the alts. I still go back to SUI or Soul or SUI. You may get some coverage on that. I do cover that. More private. The small DeFis, the little nugget I'll leave for you guys that are alt people. The small DeFis may pump brains, melt faces. You heard that before? It's all on Twitter. It's old school. We're gonna melt your face. The VIX has been kind of hot over the last few days, and we've been more risk off. And the metals have shown the bull, continue to show the bull. As I roll all the way down, obviously there's Mr. Trump's coin, WLFI. I don't like covering a lot of this stuff. There tends to be too much of that garbage around. That's the way I feel about that. And a pretty flat crypto market as I roll up and down the board for you. I was looking to see maybe if there was a crazy pump or something for you guys at the end with alts and flat. The Fed's cut. We're flat. We need some excitement. We need some good green, but a lot of this stuff still shows a potential of another correction. But as I roll all the way back up to BTC, we'll see if I got stopped out yet. Because a lot of people would love for me to be stopped out here. And for me, it's no big deal. It's just a trade. And like I said, the trade was put on at 110. There's a video over there on a couple weeks ago, and now they've pulled back right back to where it was put on. And it's not necessarily a breakout, but it's a good bullish engulfing candle with a nice healthy pullback. And I honestly think they're going to push up here in the 120 and push up in the 144 and 150 at this point. Could this break down and go the other way? Absolutely. And just turn into a short trader, which you absolutely have to have leverage on. It's not a big deal. You get stopped out. And now this thing with solid candles up under here is going to be set to go down and breach 100. Is that what's going to happen? I'm not too sure you can pull the alt season off with that. So Does Ethereum still potentially need to correct a little more? Maybe, but they're building a potential bull flag. So that's what we're going to come back to on Saturday. The story, moneymaker, me. Thank you for coming and subscribing and loving and liking. And I'll see you in the next video. Buy the fear, sell the greed. I think y'all see that. See you guys.